Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man series, Marvel's KINGPIN, which is a reissue, more or less, of the Build-A-Figure with some more paint, and a lot of people really like the Build-A-Figure. Some people hated it. This one, well, it's not a Build-A-Figure, so that helps it a little bit, and it also has a much better look since it's not solid white, and that did not turn out well the first time. This guy does some things very nicely. Well, I shouldn't say that. He does a few things okay. Let's not get carried away here. And he does a few things pretty terribly. But well, I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys think. So stick around for the review. That's what we're doing here. And I didn't get enough sleep. Anyway, let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 20 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to, let's say, 7 7/8 inches. And somebody suggested to me that I do a question of the day just to get you guys a little more participatory, and I think that's a good idea. So here's today's question of the day, and if you guys like this sort of thing, we'll do it going forward. Question of the day: who is your favorite villain of the two options I'm about to provide? One is Kingpin, one is Dr. Octopus. Which one do you like more? I'm not going to try to persuade anybody to like what I like, but I'm going to tell you, if you don't say Dr. Octopus, you're wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic for this guy. The biggest issue I had with the very first release, or with the first release, was that he was solid white and it looked like garbage because the white was all scuffed up and marked and marred, and it had spots of paint and just dirtiness and what you would expect from a solid white figure from a company like Hasbro. That's just the way it is. And unfortunately, this guy's top half is still mostly solid white, and it still has all of those problems. It looks like he got wet and they tried to dry him off with a bunch of dirt. Does not look good. If you can look past that, the rest of the figure actually looks pretty decent. They did a good job, or at least a good enough job, painting this thing. His little nubbin right here is done. It looks very nice. They painted his buttons. His pants are purple this time. It's almost all molded plastic though, so that does help everywhere except for the white. The white just does not look that good. The face is still pretty much what it looked like before. It's okay. I think here's one of the things that bothers me about this figure, and I didn't really think about it until today. Let me bring this up here, just so that I have an example. I'll show you in a second. He doesn't actually look that fat. He just looks very thick, very broad. If you look, he still doesn't have very much front to back, which is an ongoing issue for Marvel Legends in general, but Kingpin here has none of that. He doesn't have the big neck, he doesn't have much of anything which would indicate he's fat. He just looks like he's very, very broad. Now look at the artwork here. See the difference? And it doesn't have to look exactly like that, but this guy actually looks like he's a big fat guy. He's got the big neck, he's got the jowls, he's got the belly protrusion. His legs are actually shaped like human legs rather than just sausages hanging off. Everything about this guy is proportioned to normally. It's just bigger and shorter, relatively speaking. Like his legs don't have they should be more tapered. You know what I mean? Everything just has kind of a non-Kingpin vibe to it, and I didn't realize this the first time. I knew something was off, but I think that's what it was. Throws me off a little bit. I will say, though, this is definitely a more appealing release to me. You guys can let me know what you think about the colored outfit rather than the black and white. So anyway, aesthetically speaking, I'm going to give this guy a 7. It's much better than before. Still not particularly impressive because of this white turdy jacket. It still looks good otherwise. Okay, as far as accessories go, we have two heads. We have the one normal head, and then we have the angry head. The angry head has a very nice paint job on it. We still have the eyes, which are not shaped like human eyes at all. Your human eyes are not flat planes, which go from back to front. They are spheres in your skull. This is not sculpted well in the eye department, but the paint job is nice. And then we do have his little stick with a candy on the top. That's not what it is, but I want to eat it. And that's it for accessories. Not that much, so 5 out of 10. No alternate hands, and then the eyes are sculpted really weird on the head, so it's not a very impressive release so far. And everybody got mad at me the last time I reviewed this thing and said it wasn't that good, and now I'm doing it again, and I don't care. We focus on the facts here, everybody. Okay, on to the articulation. His head is on a hinge. You're not going to get much out of that, but I wanted to show you the hinge technically has the range, and then we have our ball peg. So if you actually want to use the hinge, he can look up. That's probably sufficient. Looking down, not going to happen. his little thingy, his scarf thingy definitely gets in the way of the chin, and you're just not going to be able to use it, which is a bummer because he's taller than everybody else. You can, of course, lean the head around and it functions normally, but you can't bring it down. So that's a little bit of a bummer. For the shoulders, they go just about horizontal, so that is nice. Full rotation, that's good. No bicep swivel. You do get a single jointed elbow, which is, it's close to 90, not quite, but that's where you're going to get your rotation. Very limited amount of range there. Then for the wrists, we have a swivel and a hinge. They did paint the ring, that's pretty nice. His diaphragm joint, you would think, would give him a lot of range. Just like before, he doesn't have any range at all. It's mostly just a swivel, which looks bad when you use it. Like, really bad. Why? Why did they do that? It's just... This figure is so half-assed. Okay, onto the hips. Going out to the side. Better splits than most Marvel Legends. This leg's popping off because it's an old Build-A-Figure part. But that's more than enough range for him there, so that's good. Going forward, nope, can't do it. You can't bring his leg forward. You can bring it out to the side and up a little bit, but you cannot bring it forward because of the way they sculpted his groin. So you're not going to be able to pose him doing much of anything, really, other than maybe a slightly brisk walk or leaning forward a little bit. Like, yeah, somebody told me you can pose him punching just fine. Yeah, okay, if you want him to look like he's not really moving very much when he's doing it, sure, you can do that. But his hips just don't work. You don't get much range at all. You do get a thigh swivel, which is very stuck. There we go. Single jointed knee with less than 90 degrees of range, which is not going to be that helpful anyway because his hips don't really do anything. And the knees are ridiculously ugly. There's no reason for this bottom ledge right here. There's already a ledge right here. Just don't put it there. And if somebody wants to force it and bend the leg backwards, hyperextend the knee, they can, but otherwise it's going to look better. This ledge should not be here. You do get rotation there if you want it, but I don't know why you would want it. As for the ankles, I believe we have a full-on ball hinge. That's what it feels like. They still have virtually no range. You can give them a little bit of an ankle rocker. It's going to be just for adjustment posing. In fact, this whole figure is pretty much just for adjustment posing. And I get that he's Kingpin, but it's also an action figure, and not being able to pose it is very irritating to me. So articulation on this guy gets a 5 out of 10. And I have to say, I thought I was going to like this one so much more than the first one, and it turns out I don't because it's the exact same figure other than paint. And I like the color better, but that's completely up to me. I mean, that's a subjective thing. You guys you can let me know if you like the white or the color, but it's just still not a great release. It doesn't feel like a collectible. It just feels like a toy. There's no shading on it or anything like that. It just feels like a toy. It's going to stand there, and collectors are going to buy it and put it on a shelf and never think about it again. That's my guess. I don't know. You guys can tell me how you feel about it. I was hoping I would not be disappointed by it again, but I am. So final verdict on this guy, 6 out of 10. It's not inherently bad. It just doesn't have anything really good about it. It's just there. It's a thing. Paid money for it. I don't feel great about it. And I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. And if you haven't subscribed, well, get out of here. Who needs you? No, go ahead and subscribe. I have new videos out almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that fun stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.